really special person here today. I'm so honored and a little bit nervous, I have to say. To hear him is to know him. To know him is to love him. I've got J.D Spangler.
Woo!
Ow! J.D. So thank you so much for being here. Oh my God.
I mean, I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad.
I'm excited. Somebody's excited to talk to
I
me.
really am. Even though, like, you're basically family because you're best friends with my father-in-law. I'm
I
so
am.
like, and I can't believe this is the first time I think we've actually. Stan swears we've met before, but
If it was very brief,
yeah.
if we did, but so this is the first time we've ever really interacted.
Well, it is an honor, dude.
Let's
I'm so
do
glad
it.
that you're here. Okay, so you were a DJ for how long?
50
Like,
years.
you were a legend. 50 years.
Think about that. 50
Gosh.
years. And when I knew I wanted to be a DJ when I was like 15 years old.
15.
I grew up listening to WLS out of Chicago. People of a certain age would remember that was the big top 40 / rock and roll radio station you could hear down here. This is in the 60s, long time ago. And I heard them talking on the radio and I go, how cool would it be to talk on the radio and they pay you?
Right?
I go, what fun would that be? Because I wasn't into manual labor,
I
so
feel that.
I said, let's try that. So I was very lucky to know what I wanted to do at an early age because a lot of people don't, and so I said, that's what I want to do. I practiced.
Is that how you discovered the voice, the J.D.
Well-
Spangler like that?
Well, I think, it wasn't conscious. It's just, I think it's a genuine enthusiasm
Yeah.
for what you do. And I always tell people, genuine enthusiasm works every time.
You can tell when someone's being fake, and when
Yeah.
you're actually like love and passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
What's the word? Genuinity. Genuine is it? You know what I mean?
Sincerity.
Sincerity. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for helping me
Being
there.
totally genuine. But that, I get excited. And if you think about it, when somebody is excited about a product, like if they're selling a product or they're telling you a story about, and they get a little bit of juice, a little bit of
Yeah.
that, then you connect with that. So when I'm introducing songs on the radio, I love those songs just like the listeners do. So that's what I tried to portray when I would bring on a song.
Were you always a big music fan?
Yeah, and to be honest, I was kind of more of a, I guess, especially in my early days, more of a pop fan. Like,
Okay.
for instance, I grew up with the Beatles and the Stones and the Beach Boys and things of that nature.
Very cool.
That was my first. Well, first of all, the Beatles were the one that really
Oh, for sure.
did it for me, and a lot of people. And then it went across that whole spectrum. And in the 70s, of course, the 70s brought on Billy Joel and brought on Elton John and the Bee Gees and people of that ilk. And of course, the disco got really hot in there too.
That would be amazing.
But I've always liked that, and enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interaction with the public when I would go out in person. And when I was on the radio, it was like, I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like talking to 100,000 people. I tried to do it as I'm talking to one person who enjoyed the music.
Very organic and natural.
Like me. Yeah. And so I was lucky to do what I love to do.
It is a blessing, isn't
for
it?
so long.
Yeah, that's a blessing. So you did it for 50 years and you started in Marshall, Illinois. Is that correct?
I'm from Marshall, went to junior college in Mount Carmel, Illinois.
Okay. Is that where you met Dad?
No, I met him in high school. Marshall High School.
Okay.
But he went to junior college down there too.
Okay.
Because obviously I draw all the people to me. See, so Stan said that's where you're going. I'll go too. All right. Anyway, and while I was there, I got a part-time job at a radio station in Princeton, Indiana.
Okay.
Which is only 11 miles away from Mount Carmel. So I'm there. I get a part-time job in Princeton, Indiana, and then a guy in Evansville hears me, comes to me and says, hey, if we get an opening.
So was that your big break?
Yeah, that was my first big break.
Oh, wow.
And
You got discovered.
then they hire me in Evansville, Indiana. And I don't want to tell you how much money I made because it's so unbelievably huge. I made $110 a week.
Woohoo!
Whoa,
Baller.
110 a week. And
That's
all the records I could steal.
that's awesome.
So
Do you have a huge record collection?
I did.
Oh, very cool.
Then, well, it's kind of a tragic story. When later in my career, I had a flood in the basement and
No.
lost most of them, but I've
Got them back
I'm
into the
into an old vinyl
rotation.
thing,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
you know, and I kind of focused on greatest hits stuff. So, but after Evansville, then a guy who worked in Evansville had a buddy working in Mississippi, Jackson,
It really is who
Mississippi.
you know, isn't
It is.
Oh
And
my
he
gosh.
says, hey, we got an opening here in Jackson and it pays $140 a week.
We got that raised.
Woohoo!
That's what's
I
up.
go, $30 more? Are you kidding?
Who wouldn't take that?
And I'd never really been out of, you know, basically Terre Haute and Evansville. And I went to St. Louis to a ball game. That's about it.
Yeah.
So not knowing anybody, never even meet, I got the job on the phone.
That's awesome.
I drive to Mississippi. I'm 21 years old. And growing up around here and then moving to Jackson, Mississippi, it's a little bit of a culture shock there.
What was it like?
Well, I enjoyed it, but it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
And had a good time on the radio. I will tell you this, every place I worked, I enjoyed. I loved
That's good to hear.
I just loved talking on the radio. Now,
Yeah.
some stations were better than others.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But so I go down there, work there for a year. And then basically back then you sent out what they called air checks.
Okay.
So a sample of my on-air work.
I saw something online called Air Check Radio. Is that what
It's
you're
kind of
referring
what
to?
that is,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I sent an air check out trying to get another job because I thought this station was going to fire a bunch of people. They weren't doing well financially. And so, but I got a job in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, wow. You really did move around.
I did.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm in Evansville about a year. I'm in Jackson about a year and a half. Then I go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, which by the way is a beautiful city.
I've heard.
River-
I've never been.
River runs right through the middle of the
Oh,
city.
you're speaking my language.
The radio station was actually up on what they call Lookout Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
you've been?
Yeah, I lived in Nashville, so
Yeah.
Chattanooga's 3 hours from us.
Chattanooga
Okay,
is
okay.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So I was there for about a year and a half. And by the way, Ted Turner, you ever heard of Ted
I know
Turner?
that name. Who is that?
Ted Turner, he owned what they called the superstation at the time, TBS,
Yeah.
you know, which is still around, but
Yeah.
he owned it. And he owned the Atlanta Braves at one time.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he owned the station. And he didn't know anything about radio, though. So
Did you teach him a thing or two?
well, Ted didn't take a lot of input from 23-year-old long-haired
Oh, I hear you.
DJs.
Yeah.
But then I thought it had run its course as well, because that's the nature of the business back then. Now you got to realize this is all before there's no automation, there's no satellite, everything's live. So radio stations, you've got to have a live person there 24 hours a day.
So to compare, I'm sorry, to compare the live stuff from back then and the way things were when you retired in 2020, when you left the era, like what was it like? Do you know what I mean? Like how different was it for you then?
Oh, extremely different.
Because you go from the internet to,
Well, yeah, everything was totally different.
yeah,
And there's good and bad about both.
true.
You know, so I don't say, oh, the good old days are bad. I mean, hey, one of the things I loved about radio is it changed.
So you're about the evolving.
Changes all the time.
Yeah.
So I come back to Evansville again, different station, had a great time. Things worked really well. And at this point, I've been basically a DJ. But I got my first big break to be a program director.
Ooh.
Now that means you get to hire the DJs, you get to pick the music, and you get to decide what the promotions are.
So you were the boss.
So, well, there's a boss above me, but I was the boss of things. I used to tell people, if it comes out of the speaker, I'm in charge of it.
Okay, that's well put.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it comes out of the speaker, that's what I'm in charge of. And I was only 26 years old, and all of a sudden now I'm managing, 7, 8 people.
At 26 years old, that's really cool.
Which
That's
was
incredible. Yeah.
fun. Now, to go quickly. Then I went to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Sure.
4 years. I go to Chicago for the first time. Bad radio station, bad manager,
Oh,
but
really?
I got Chicago on my resume.
Okay, that looks really good. Yes.
You got to have the big city on your resume.
That's a great city too.
So I'm only there for a year, and it's one of the guys I worked for in Evansville, Indiana, now is working in San Francisco.
You went to the West
Then he
Coast?
calls me and says, we need a guy to program the first FM country station in the San Francisco Bay Area.
I didn't know that.
First FM country station. He says, do you want to do this? Come out
Absolutely.
and interview with the president of the company.
Oh, wow. Were you nervous?
You know what's funny about it? I really wasn't, because
You were just born to do
well,
this.
for some reason, I have this crazy thought that I could do it. I just
Well,
had
who would have thunk? 50 years.
I had a
Yeah,
lot of confidence
That's great.
in it, and I was, for whatever reason, I was also willing to take risks. So I go out there, and we had great success. I mean, we went from 19th to 2nd in 1 year.
When you started?
Yeah, 19th, and that put me on the map,
Yeah.
especially in the country music community. So people go, wait a minute, the station's number 2 in San Francisco playing country music? Are you kidding me? So that was great. And what even better, that's where I met my wife.
I was going to ask you when Lori came into
Yeah. My wife is Lori, and we met there. And
in San Francisco, you met Lori there.
yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Matter of fact, I even met her on Fisherman's Wharf. You can't get more San
That's
Francisco
romantic.
than that. I was actually doing a country music event at a jazz club called Earthquake Magoons. And the only reason we did that is
What a
because,
perfect California name.
well,
Earthquake.
Earthquake Magoons, they were looking to do something special on a Sunday night, which was a slow night for virtually every bar in the world. And I said, and they had heard had done some successful things. And I said, okay, we'll try it. I go, I'm not sure how good it'll do on Fisherman's Wharf, which is a destination. It's not like people just drive by it because.
Is it like a tourist attraction?
Oh yeah,
place?
it's
Okay.
a total, it's right on the water.
I'm picturing like a bridge. Is that like?
Yeah, it's kind of, well, it's a wharf. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So it's a destination. I mean, it's not easy to get to. Parking's challenge. So anyway, we put like 400 people in this bar on a Sunday night, and they're ecstatic. And one of the people we put in there was my wife.
Nice.
To be. Interesting story there is I was attracted to her immediately for some reason. I mean, because of my job, I did meet several attractive women.
Sure.
But there's something about her that seemed a little
stood out,
special.
yeah.
So she did give me her phone number,
Oh, that's so nice.
but she wouldn't go out with me for like 6 months.
That a girl. Gotta play hard to
You
get.
know, you're going to have to work for it.
I like her.
Yeah. So she finally acquiesced. And from that first official date, since, we've never been apart. Is
And
that
you were
something?
saying me downstairs, you guys are still best friends.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's wonderful.
It's somehow it's almost incredible that we are so well connected on every area, which is rare.
It is. It's very special. Yeah.
So anyway, it's been fantastic.
Did she follow you from San Francisco all over after
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
That's
she
wonderful.
did. And on our honeymoon, first of all, we went to Lake Tahoe, and then we went to Chicago, and then we came back down here for my family, who didn't get to come to the wedding because they don't fly.
Right, right. Where would you guys get married at?
We got married in
In
the
San-
Bay Area, in
Okay.
a little
Oh,
small
beautiful.
little suburb town, and
Oh,
called
sounds
Woodside, California. It's real cute. So we come back here for a reception, and it was here in Terre Haute, and then I said my parents had moved to Terre Haute at that time from Marshall because they were working at Mies Men's Store. Some of you folks may remember Mies Men's Store. Some of you may not, but some of you may remember. Anyway, I'd take her over to Marshall. I go, this is where I grew up. Gave her the tour, went to the high school.
Oh, what'd she think of Marshall?
Well,
From
let me tell you the story. So
Okay,
we go
okay.
to the restaurant, which is a hangout for everybody. It was called Tom's
Oh, I
Restaurant.
remember Tom. Is Tom still there?
Yeah, well, it's a different name
Reggie
now.
worked there,
It's
I think.
Rudy's now, but
Okay, gotcha.
it was Tom's. And so we go there, and I go, one day I want to come back here. She looks at me, she goes, I don't want to live here.
Oh, no.
She goes, I don't want to live here. So after we lived, in San Francisco, and then ultimately Chicago, which set everything up for me to move back, but we'll get to that in a second.
Sure.
She agreed to come back here. But so San Francisco was wonderful, but I yearned to be back in the Midwest, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and I wanted to have kids, and to be honest, for me, it wasn't the best place I wanted to raise kids. First of all, it's extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to private schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of missed the Midwest. So I came back, we went to Des Moines, Iowa, of all places.
The Caitlin Clark city.
Yeah, where Caitlin Clark is made famous. I didn't quite do as much for it as she did.
Go on.
And we had a great time there too. And our goal there was we were actually going to buy a radio station on equity, which means the longer I worked there, they gave me a little bit more percentage of the station.
Okay.
So that's what our plan was. We liked Des Moines. It was great. We made good friends. Everything's going great. Then a guy calls me from US 99 in Chicago.
Oh, and this is
which
where it
was my
begins.
dream of growing up, to work in Chicago and be able to be the boss, especially. And he said, man, we need a guy. The country station here he said, suck.
Country in Chicago. Who would
Yeah. And he said, what you did in San Francisco was great. And
Now, how old were you at this point?
37
Okay.
by this time. And I talked to my wife. I go, honey, it's
You were
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's a
I go, we
beautiful
got a great
city.
deal here. Probably end up, if not owning it, at least owning half of it.
Mm-hmm.
We could be here forever, probably, but she goes, if that's what you want to do. She was always so supportive. She goes, if that's what you think you need to do, do it. I'll support you.
Aw.
And so
Well,
we
you're
go
a
to
best
Chicago.
friend. Yeah.
And we had a rocky first year, which I'm sure she was a little nervous. First year.
Is it just because of different city?
Well, what happened is I took the job, and I had to keep the morning guy.
Okay.
And that's always a bet. Don't make it be mandatory that you got to keep anybody.
Why is that?
Well, because he may not be
Work with the new.
He may not be. You got to have the DJs, and you have to think alike.
Okay.
They have to buy into your plan.
Okay.
Because I've got a definite way I know how to run a radio station, and it's worked everywhere I've been.
Got it. So did you guys clash, I'm assuming?
We did.
Oh, no.
And I told the boss, I said, look, after about 6 months, I said, it's not going to work.
You can't say you didn't try. That's 6 months. That's a long
No, I
time.
gave him 6 months to
Yeah.
come around to my way, and he kept fighting me. I go, it's not going to work.
Put your ego aside, dude. Like, I'm J.D
You know,
Spangler. I tried.
And then I even told him, I said, look, you give me 6 months. I go, I'll do the morning show. I was doing afternoon drive at that time. Luckily, my afternoon drive numbers were the highest ones on the station.
That's right, it was.
Thankfully. So I had a little more cachet. I'll do the morning show. And guess what? And at this time, his morning show was 18th. And I said, if I don't have that in the top 10 in 2 rating books, then I'll quit.
You say 2 rating books. What does that
They're
mean? What's that timeline?
Rating books back then were 3 months in length.
3 months, like quarterly, in other words?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So
6 months, basically.
right.
I said, if I'm not in the top 10, you can fire me. Now, you don't have to if you think I'm still making good progress, but if it's not there, I won't say a word.
You really put your ass on the line.
I
You're
did.
like, listen,
And I told my wife the same thing. I said, this is what I've done. I go, so we need to be flexible the next 6 months.
Yeah. But she was supportive as usual.
She said, well, and I told her, I said, hey, I'll be able to get a job somewhere. I'll get a job somewhere.
It won't be hard.
We'll get a gig. So luckily, things turned around. We did extremely well, and ultimately, the morning show was top 3 and out of 40 stations for the rest of my tenure.
Good for you. That's one hell of a resume.
But the best thing, and I'm most proud of, is 5 years in a row, we were the #1 listened to country station in America.
Really?
In America, 5 years in a row, and that's a collaborative work. I mean, all the DJs. When you get a staff that all buys in, that are all on the same page.
It's like a family, a
It
network,
was.
just like you guys, everything just kind of just works out perfectly, swimmingly smooth.
Exactly.
That's nice.
And they all bought
That's
in.
so rare.
And it's so hard to keep it going too, because everybody tells them they're the reason. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, geez, yeah.
Their wife or their mom and dad or their friends or,
Yeah.
well, you should be, and I used to tell, I go, look, everybody thinks they should be making more money. Everybody thinks that. I should be making more. You should be making more. But let's be honest. We're all making way more than we ever dreamed of anyway.
This is true.
So let's enjoy this. So we had a really nice ride. In the midst of this, CBS bought the station from a smaller company.
This is what I'm waiting to hear. Okay.
This is what totally choked the fun. So CBS buys it, and they come in and.
How long were you in Chicago at this point?
About 5 years.
Okay.
So they come in, and like every major corporation that buys anything, they come in and say, and by the way, big corporations hire people, they, create jobs, they're necessary. You just have to decide if you want to work for one of them.
100%.
Okay. So a lot of people like them, and I have nothing against them. It's just not right for me. So anyway, they first thing they come in and say, nothing's going to change. Everything's the same. Everybody's going to be here. We're happy.
And that lasted all of?
About a year.
Oh, my.
Maybe year and a half. And then slowly they start making little tweaks, changing this, making us play more commercials and less music, which doesn't make sense on a music.
I was just going to say that.
Like, here's a listener. Would you like to hear more commercials?
Not even.
Or more music?
I mean, hell, nowadays we buy things so we don't listen to ads. We skip the commercials.
Yeah, we don't get them all.
Right.
So I told my wife, so at this point we're about 8 years in. I said,
So you stood with the corporation for 3 years after they
Two.
came on. 2 years.
2. So I told, when it was okay for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Right before they
But
started
then when it started going bad, you're right, about 2.5, 3 years. So I told her, I said, we got 2.
You're not happy anymore.
I go, because it's going to run out. Because I know me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we have meetings with the president of the company and the big wigs fly in to tell us stuff, I go, I know me. I'm going to tell one of them to kiss my ass.
Yes, sir.
And, I know how to do this. Leave me the hell alone, okay?
Not one to have a boss.
I'll placate him as long as I can. And that's when I started thinking about buying a radio station back here in the Wabash Valley, specifically Marshall. Marshall had a station. It had never been successful. And I knew that how could you not make it? You got to be able to work a little.
Yeah.
So I investigated it, found out who owned it, realized he's a nice man who owned it, but just didn't know how to run a radio station properly. That doesn't, I don't mean that negatively or
No, of course
arrogantly.
not. No, for sure.
It's, it's you got to know how, I didn't know how to be an engineer. He was a chief engineer, it was electronics. I don't know that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't buy an electronics business, but I, I don't know how to do that.
That's fair.
Anyway, so I tell her, I said, I think we can buy this station. And she still wasn't sold on Marshall yet.
Oh, not yet. Oh my gosh.
She says, I don't know,
That's so funny.
And so I told her, I said, honey, my contract, they did honor my contract had like a year and a half or something to go. So I said, I know it's not going to be renewed. And I know I don't want it to be renewed.
How much time did you have before Lori was like, okay,
Well,
I can do this?
It
Let's-
took about 6 months or so. I finally told her, I said, look, I get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
And by the way, our kids at this point are like 13 and 11.
You've got two, yeah.
Yeah,
obviously,
two daughters.
Okay, 2 daughters. Got it.
10 and 8, 11 and 9, whatever,
Mhm.
in that range. And I said, if we buy the radio station, then we can guarantee we'll be there till they graduate high school at least. And we don't have to be, if I take a job somewhere, you know me, it may work, it may not work, just
Mhm.
because that's the way this business is.
Yeah.
And then we got to move them again. We got to move it. I go, we go here, we control our own destiny.
Magic like music to her ears, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
I know how to, I know I can do this well enough for us to at least break even from a standpoint of, we can pay our expenses.
Mhm.
I go, we can't get rich, but we can live, even when we were lucky enough to make, good money.
Mhm.
We didn't buy extravagant things.
You were never about keeping up with the Joneses and none
No,
of that hoopla.
my wife is so great. She never wanted fancy necklaces or.
She's my kind of people.
Yeah, she didn't want a Mercedes I'd say, hey, we can get something
That
fancy.
stuff is for the birds.
Yeah, she just didn't want, I go, God, I love you. Anyway, she does like shoes though. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
shoes.
Lori,
She's got shoes,
love you.
200 pair.
That's my
Anyway,
girl.
she's like Marco, whatever, Melda, there's some, anyway. My point is, that that made sense to her. I go, look, we don't have to drag the kids around. And by the way, she handled almost all of our moves. So she didn't look forward to moving
It's
anymore.
taxing,
If this is the
moving.
last one,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like the finale, right? No more.
So she finally bought, and then the last carrot was, I go, honey, if I buy the station, you're going to have to come to work and handle the office stuff.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to bring a stranger in here
You wanted someone you trust
to count our
trusted.
money.
That's fair.
And
Had she ever done that before?
no,
She was a natural.
all the time we'd been married, luckily she didn't have to work out of the home.
Mhm.
She took care of the house, the kids, and all
Yeah.
that. But I told her, you're going to have to do that. And then there's a lot of FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, there's a lot of rules and regulations. She did all the billing, send out all the invoices, and then you got to print up a program log when you play the commercials. You got to document when you play them and blah, blah, blah. So she did all that.
So did she know? Did you have to teach her how to do that? Was she just a natural? That sounds hard.
Well,
That sounds like a lot.
it's a learning curve,
For
but it's
sure.
not,
She
she's smart.
picked up really easily.
Yeah, she was a way better student than I was. So she's smart. So she was, and she admitted later she was a little nervous about it, but no, she picked it up
Change is scary.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
very
And
scary.
she'd
She just
yeah.
whipped it out and didn't.
And so, she learned, and as time, I mean, over the 22 years we owned the station together, this was August of 98 when we bought WMMC
Do it.
105.9, the home
voice.
of the Wheel of Jack.
Yeah, there it is. I was waiting
The Wheel
for
of
that.
Jack, where you can win as much as $2,000. Anyway,
Oh, there he is.
she grew into the job and became, fantastic at everything. And I was lucky over the years to put together a great staff of people.
That is such a blessing to have that.
Yeah,
It
I
really
found
is.
it took a while to find the right group. The first 5 years, it was just me and her and one part-time person.
It's hard to get that other person
Yeah.
in with like the.
Well, it took a while for us to build up the billing so we were making enough money. And but like I say, when I started at 105.9, so I did the morning show. Then I would go sell commercials. I'd write the commercials. I'd record the commercials.
You wrote the commercials?
Mm-hmm. And then I'd record the commercials.
How many hats do you wear?
Then I would go do sports
Oh
play-by-play
my gosh.
for the football, basketball,
I'm
softball.
learning a lot about you.
I did all that by myself.
Wow.
And then I finally hired a guy I had worked with previously who had been fired from his job by a corporation, and finally talked him into coming here. The Deacon, some people may or may not remember
Yes,
the Deacon.
I do.
He and I had worked together twice before. And so I brought him
Oh, you're
down.
flooding back memories, Sarita.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
Brought the Deacon back, and he was with us 10, 12 years, did a great job. Then some people may know who Tom Lasella is, maybe not. Tom sold cars for a long. By the way, Tom was on TV and radio in the 70s in Terre Haute. Then went into car sales, auto sales. But Tom always had a soft spot for radio, and I ran into him and I said, Tom, you need to come to work for me.
Yeah.
Man, quit selling cars, come and do this. So he finally talked him into it, and he's great. He handles our Facebook page now, taking pictures all over.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he's been doing that for 15 years or
Oh,
more.
that's cool.
And then, of course, the current owner is Joey O'Rourke. He's a young guy that matter of fact, I'll give you an idea.
Is he from Marshall? I know
Yeah,
that
he's
name.
from
I know, I
Marshall.
was gonna say, I know that name.
He played basketball, and I broadcast his games
No.
and got to know his parents really well.
Okay.
And then he went to Indiana State.
Oh.
Graduated from Indiana State, and then he started working part-time for me doing sports. He's a big sports fan. So doing sports with me, and he said, hey, I want a full-time job. And I go, well, I don't know, man. It's hard work. I go, can you sell radio advertising? Because you got to earn your keep here. I don't need you to do the ball games because I can do them by myself. I mean, I like having a sidekick, but, I can't pay you enough to, you have to earn your keep here. And
I bet you have to have like charisma together.
Well, you know what? He was a natural.
Oh, he was.
He was a natural. He started selling right out of the chute.
You were just aligned from the very beginning of your career.
He started selling, and then I said, well, you got to learn to be a DJ, and that's almost impossible. He was a natural at that too. So he became a good DJ. He's an excellent salesman. He now owns the station, and he's now bought stations here in Terre Haute.
And because you brought him in and you guys
Well,
became friends and like you gave him his
he
first
did
start
it,
with
but-
radio, and then he was a natural and picked up by himself.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, he did it.
fantastic. I love
I'd like to
stories like
think that
that.
I'm a little bit of a
I
mentor,
would think so, yes.
but no, he deserves all the credit
That's
for it.
awesome.
But so I owned the Marshall radio station from 98 to 2020, and that was 50 years of broadcasting. I thought that was enough. Plus, I was turning 70 years old. I know if you're watching, I look probably not a day over 73.
Much.
Okay, 75. So I thought that was a good time to quit. And then we'd planned this like 6-8 months ahead of time. And then COVID hit, and it was like, oh, good, I'm retiring. We want to travel, and we can't go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like for a
I
year,
know. What a
for a whole
deal.
year, we're like set in the house. Okay.
And you're not used to that because you're used to traveling and everything. So
Yeah.
was that really hard for you just to kind of just
Well,
chill and stay still?
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only watch so much Netflix, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay. I mean, I get that.
But it was so much fun.
Yeah.
We, broadcasting all the ball games and talking about the good going on in the community. I'm a believer that if you give kids want recognition,
Hmm.
and they do bad things sometimes because that gives them recognition. That's not necessarily a conscious
You don't
decision.
want that negative energy towards
So
you.
if we give them recognition for doing positive things,
Yes, that's great.
like we would have, the band member of the week. We would have the scholastic student of the week as well as athletes.
That probably did so much for them.
So and my kids were in theater, so we would promote on the radio the shows and plays they were putting on. So we tried to give everybody, a reason to contribute positively.
Was that your idea to do that with the kids? I think that's really
Well,
special. That's very cool.
partially because I don't know, that was something I picked up as a youngster myself.
Hmm.
I go, this guy is picking fights
Because he wants to be seen.
he's angry about something and he probably doesn't even know what it is.
Right.
Let's
Being a
give him
kid is
let's
hard.
give him a reason to channel that positively. And a lot of those kids that are angry physically, football's a good outlet.
A great outlet.
It's
Yeah.
a great outlet because
Yeah.
they can go hit
Just
people
push everybody down.
and it's
knock them down.
legal.
Yeah.
But for maybe what some would consider nerdish, like my youngest daughter specifically was considered kind of nerdish.
So was Gracie, our daughter, for sure.
So she got into Scholastic Bowl.
But the nerds rule the world. What's she doing
Yeah,
now?
they are.
Like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, she's doing great now.
Yeah.
But so Scholastic Bowl. I mean, we started giving results of Scholastic Bowl. Which, whatever,
That's
and
amazing.
chorus and things like that. So anyway, I think every community deserves to have outlets like that, and that's what we tried to do. One
I
thing.
think-
I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I just think that's really special because a lot of kids, especially now that I've got a daughter, she's 11. A lot of kids I've noticed sometimes want to bring negative attention on themselves just to have some kind of attention sometimes.
Exactly.
And I see some people do that, and it's just I think what you're doing is like, because I always tell Grayson, it's important for you to like do something that makes you proud. That's the kind of attention that you want to be
Right.
around. Things that people that are doing good things. And so for you to do that and to point these things out that the kids are doing great, let's applaud these kids. I think that's really special, and that probably did a lot more for them than maybe you even recognize. Because I think that's really special.
Well, it's
Great.
interesting. I actually would have parents come up to me
Yeah.
and say, wow, when you recognized her for being the clarinet player, like there's all conference band members, like there is like all conference in sports.
Yeah.
And so we would actually recognize all conference band members. No radio station
I've never heard of
had
anybody
done
doing
that.
that. No.
And so they go,
You're a
well,
trailblazer,
well,
really.
they go, well, thanks so much for that because, you talk, the quarterback gets a lot of attention and the guy, and I go, well, and we're guilty of that. We're guilty of fawning over quarterbacks too, but we also want to give everybody. And so I actually would go to the band director and say, you need to tell me who the best performers are and any awards they may get so I can announce it on the radio. And they're like stunned. Like the band director's like, wow, you want to do that? I go, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they got their name put on the radio and everything and got recognized for all the good that they're doing, that probably motivated them
Let's hope.
tenfold. Yeah.
And then their parents and grandparents then all feel good. And they would say, maybe the kid didn't hear it, but grandma would say, gee, I heard about your name on the radio.
That's so
and then the
nice.
kid's like, oh, really? Whatever.
Earlier you mentioned, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
okay, earlier you mentioned that you weren't nervous in these interviews because you knew that you were very confident.
Well,
Now, when
I'm
you
confident at talking.
you're really good. I love talking to you. But when you did the interviews like with like famous
Ah.
people, What was that like? Was there anybody that ever intimidated you?
Well, I tell you, and here's the other thing. My life has been so blessed
Yeah.
that I've been so lucky to interview. Now, most of my personal interviews were with country music stars, most of them,
Awesome.
because they are much more accessible. Now, let me regress just a moment.
Sure.
In the 70s, I emceed a lot of rock groups, but I didn't really necessarily meet them because there were things going on backstage in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Say no more.
But for instance, I emceed Seeger, Kiss, Mellencamp right when he first started.
You did?
Among Kansas. Listen to this. I'm 20 years old, emceeing Led Zeppelin, who was a new group.
What?
And I didn't have any idea, who Jimmy Page was. I mean, I had no, but I'm on stage going, welcome the new group, Led Zeppelin. It's like,
Oh my God. Now with Ozzy's passing just recently, did you ever do anything with
No.
Black Sabbath?
the only thing I did was play I Am Iron Man.
Okay.
Ozzy, no, never met Ozzy and never emceed him. Grand Funk Railroad, Alice Cooper.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, but I didn't really get to know those people at all. Now in country, they're much more accessible. And I was very lucky to go backstage, meet, MC, have them on the radio with me in the studio. Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Reba McEntire,
Reba!
Alabama,
Oh my God.
George Strait, on and on. Actually had dinner at Reba's house.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to hear that story.
Well, actually she invited like 20 program directors, so it wasn't just me.
So I
She
think
didn't call me up and say, hey, JD, you want to have dinner with me?
That's
No.
how I'm going to spin it, though. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But so there's like 20 of us,
Yeah.
but that's to be included in that.
So it's
That's-
safe to say that Reba, I assume, was always the nice one, super nice lady.
yeah.
Hard
By the
to
way,
know.
every country artist, virtually everyone was extremely nice.
Was there anyone that intimidated you? Like you knew you were going to interview and they're like, I'm a little nervous, or starstruck, even though you've seen so many
Well,
people. That's
by the way, I don't get starstruck by many people because I realize they're all just people who are extremely good at what they do. So
good point.
they're I try to separate, hey, Garth Brooks has a presence about him. I mean, you look at Garth. Garth is kind of short, kind of stubby. He's not classically handsome, but yet he's got the it factor.
I saw him 3 times. Yeah.
Doesn't
Back in
he?
the
Has
day,
the
back in the
it
day, yeah.
factor. So, but I realize they're all just human beings who are really good at what they do. See, I'm a big sports fan also, and I've been lucky to meet big sports stars, but I'm not in awe of them totally. I'm in awe of their ability to play baseball or football.
That's a good way of looking at things.
Or whatever. They're just regular people who happen to be really skilled at this particular thing. So I always like to do the interviews. I like to ask them things that they hadn't been asked before, is what I tried to do. Of course, you always ask, hey, who were your musical influences?
For sure.
Okay, well, we got that out of the way.
Now I have something serious to ask you.
Yeah. What do you like to do when nobody's watching?
That's a good. I'll keep that in mind. I'm learning. I'm putting this all on the volunteer.
Things like that. Who did you date that you don't want anybody to know?
Yeah, I want the juice. I want the stories. Who was the bitch? Who was the bigger bitch?
By the way, if I was going to be intimidated, actually, it was Johnny Cash.
Oh, no.
I mean, because
you met Johnny Cash.
Yeah, his hit days were over by the time, but he was such a legend and such a presence and such a great dude.
What was I saying? What was he like? Let's dish.
Just a great dude.
Really?
I mean, he comes in and goes, JD, how are you? I'm John Cash,
He called himself John Cash. Okay.
He goes, when he did that, usually on stage he'd say, hi, I'm Johnny Cash, but he said, I'm John Cash. Oh, you mean John R. Cash? He goes, and we talked, and I said, tell me about the history of Johnny Cash is amazing. I mean, it's just amazing.
Is there something you know about John Cash that nobody else does?
No, probably because he's had so many movies made about him that
That's
pretty much
I've seen them all.
all of it's come out now. Joaquin Phoenix did a really good job in Walk the
Yes. I
Line.
don't think Joaquin, in my opinion, I don't think Joaquin's ever made a bad movie.
No, he's a great actor.
Pretty amazing, yeah.
And he's very versatile.
Mhm.
Very good. But anyway, he would be the closest. Shania Twain, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw, right when he had his first hit, you know, he comes into the studio. And of course, he's a really good-looking guy too,
He's pretty handsome.
and he's all buff and everything, you know. And he comes in, he goes, "Man, I just appreciate you giving me a chance." You know, I said it's really hard to break into the business.
You are kidding
And I told
me.
him, I go, "Just take a deep breath, Tim. It's all going to be good." I had to calm him down.
I was going to say, you're calming
He
Tim
was
McGraw
excited about
down.
being on my show. I go, "Well, you should be. I have
You're like,
I have a million listeners."
It's true, but listen. That's awesome.
But it was fun. And later we had his mother on.
Really?
If you don't know the story, Tim McGraw's real father was a former Major League Baseball player named
Devin
Tug
knows.
McGraw,
Okay.
who pitched for the Phillies and the Mets. And they won the World Series when he was with the Phillies.
Oh, that's really
And
good to
when
know.
he was a minor league player, Tug, Tim's dad, was somewhere in Louisiana playing on a minor league team and had a little fling with Tim's mother. Well, the fling led to her becoming pregnant, and she didn't want to bother this because he had moved on and
Right.
to another team. He had, you know, and was on his way to the majors, and she never told him.
She never told.
Well, they did later.
How long did she keep that
So
secret?
she kept
for?
the secret. I'm thinking he was like a teenager.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
how did that? Whoa, that's insane.
So he was like I think he was high school age of some sort. I don't know the exact
Now this is something you don't see in the movies, right?
timing
This is like,
of this.
okay.
And then he found out who his real father was, and then they had a little meeting and blah blah blah. But she wrote a book, and this is how this all came about. And we had her on the air to talk about her book because it was about Tim McGraw and how this whole thing came about.
Yeah.
And she was great too. And she said, she goes, "I didn't know I was going to have a big star that night."
That's amazing.
Oh, the Judds, Winona and Naomi Judd.
Love them.
You know, so just so many.
Is there anybody that you wish you like you look back on, or maybe still have a goal set that you want to meet this person, or wish you would have met this person?
Well, I would really love to sit down and have a conversation with Larry Bird.
Oh, I bet you can make that happen. You can totally make that happen.
I've met Larry, and he's he's not a personable guy. I mean, my point is he's protective. You know, he's
guarded.
He's guarded. Yeah. He's guarded because he has so many people fawning over him. I get it.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I'm a huge sports fan and knowledgeable, and I wouldn't ask him stupid questions.
What would you ask
But he
him?
doesn't know that. Oh, I just like to talk to him about, you know, how the whole thing happened when he actually went to Indiana first and was overwhelmed, and then went back home to French Lick and ended up working for the city of French Lick doing garbage pickup.
He did?
Yeah. And then the coach at Indiana State, you know, heard that he was still available and went down there and kept bugging him and finally got Larry to sign, you know, to come to Indiana State. But I just like to talk to him about the years with the Celtics and you know, what some of the players he played with were like, and, you know.
Are you watching that documentary about the Celtics on Netflix right now, by the way?
I've seen it, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he, you know, he's a guy that I don't think a lot of people know in depth. And he's one that I would like to talk to.
Well, with your, I guess for lack of better terms, connections or whatever, can you make that happen? Like,
Those connections don't work with Larry.
Yeah.
I think I really wouldn't really know how to go about it. He lives in Florida most of the time
Okay.
now. Um,
With everything, the way it seems from the stories that you've been telling, how everything seems to align with you. What if, now this is a huge what if, how cool would it be if just so happened he's flicking through YouTube, he sees this and he's like, oh, this guy, I know JD, I met him a couple times. Let me get on the phone, let me see, and then call you up. Like, knowing you, that would probably happen. You're like a freaking 4-leaf clover. Let's knock on some wood together.
yeah, let's get the phone call. Okay. No, but Larry, he was such a great player, played the game the way I think it should be played, and also kind of let you know that people from a small town can achieve great things as well.
That is a
We
good
all got to be
story.
from
That's
somewhere.
a good story.
So,
How does your wife, how did she adjust to Marshall coming? Because I can relate to her in a little. I grew up in Las Vegas.
yeah.
Moved to Clark County, Illinois, to Martinsville. It was one hell
Martinsville
of a
is cooking
culture
now. Come
shock.
on.
Oh my God, they have a bar. I think. I don't
You
know.
got a bar now.
Oh my God, it was just something else. And what did Lori think when she finally
Well-
came to Marshall? Was she cool?
I love to tell this story.
Okay.
So, we'd visited several times. I mean, so she was, but I forgot to tell her this. So,
You forgot to mention this.
We'd
one.
been here like 2 days.
Okay.
So she comes home, she's got this frustrated look on her face, and I go, honey, what's wrong? She goes, everybody's waving at me,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know
That's so
these
true.
people,
That's so funny.
especially in Marshall. In
You
Marshall,
drive past each other, you're always waving.
you wave.
That's so funny.
Doesn't
That's
matter
so
if you
real.
know them or not,
Yeah.
because if they think they know you and you don't wave, then you're a snob. I go, so everybody waves.
Yes, you always have to drive
And
by
so I
and
go,
wave.
honey, everybody waves. Don't worry about it. Just wave back.
I forgot
She
about
goes, I
that.
don't know these people. Doesn't matter. When in
funny
doubt,
'cause it's true.
wave.
Oh my God.
And then we her little hometown grocery store, which is no longer with us, but so she's at the grocery store, and luckily for us, it was nice. The little hometown newspaper did a little story about us buying the radio station.
Okay.
So they put our picture there and a little story about us buying the station. So she's at the supermarket, and she goes, people are coming up to me and saying hi. And she goes, I don't know these people.
Yeah, she just wanted to be like lay low, and
Well, she's
can't.
just not used to it.
Yeah,
you know.
that would be very hard to
And
be
so
accustomed to.
I told her, I said, people, first of all, we were kind of like, for lack of a better term, kind of the new thing in Little Marshall,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, no.
Hey, they bought the radio station,
That's
you know.
kind of a big thing.
Yeah, it was
for
kind of a
Marshall.
big
Yeah,
deal.
That's major.
And, you know, so she just wasn't, you know, living in big cities, you know, that doesn't happen.
You just
So,
kind of melt into the pot, basically.
yeah, so that was surprising, but she likes it. I told her, I go, look, the good news is, you know, people are kind of going to know your business.
Mm-hmm.
I go, but unless we're doing bad business, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is,
I go-
too, is that game of telephone in those small towns. Holy moly! Like moving from everyone knows your last name. They always want to know, what's your last name? Who are your grandparents?
Right.
You know, stuff like that. It's just like,
Do you
it's
know
very-
so-and-so?
It's so weird. It's
Yeah.
like, no.
So it's, you know, I told her, I said, now the good news is, if you have a flat tire, you'll have somebody stop within 5 minutes to help you fit that flat tire.
That is one of the major pros.
You know,
Yes.
I remember when we were living in Des Moines, we were living kind of in a little suburb outside of it. We were getting some piece of furniture delivered. And they said, we're going to be here between X time and X time. So my wife went to the store, make sure she came back at X time, X time. She comes back, the furniture's already in there.
Oh, in the house?
Yeah. And
That would have taken me aback too.
yeah. And she's like, my God.
Who's been in my house?
So like,
The opposite of robbing.
like an hour later, the next door neighbor comes over and goes, yeah, they were there and thought I'd let them in. I said, I saw that you put the key under the mattress.
Oh my God! Was Lori tripping? Or she just like, what is this?
And I said, she was like, and I said, hey, thank you. We appreciate
And
it.
Lori's like,
She's like,
what?
I
You
go,
did what?
they're not going to steal anything.
What is this place? That is so funny. That never happened to me ever.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
That's a big pill to swallow. That is
well,
so funny.
one time too, when our oldest daughter was like 6 months old in Des Moines, and it's like 20 below zero, and our furnace goes out.
Oh no.
And I'm at work. She calls me, goes, "The furnace isn't working." I go, "Well, call X guy
Hmm.
and tell him." "Well, I tried to call and they said it'll be 6 hours or something." I go, "Tell him that you're my wife."
That's one hell of a string to pull.
I go, we're not trying to pull anything big here,
And it
but
really is who you know. Like you
it
want to
is.
pull that.
I go, "Tell him it's who I am." Because I happen to know this. He was an advertiser at the station.
Hmm.
And so, the person just answering it, just so so anyway, the guy came within an hour and fixed it.
That's what's a JD called.
But we
I'm
weren't.
JD's wife. Thank you very much.
We've got a little 6-month-old baby that's going to freeze to death.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
So
How often did you, before we wrap up and everything, how often were you able to be like, I'm JD, or did you use JD?
yeah, well, I've always, what's interesting, my name is John Spangler,
Mhm.
John David Spangler.
Hmm.
So in high school, I'm John Spangler, and I tell people, I go, well, as John Spangler, I had trouble getting any romantic attention, and I didn't have any money. Then in the 70s, when I did Top 40 radio, one of the program directors said, "John Spangler is a little bit too blasé. John David." So I used
J.D.
John David.
Spangler.
No, I used John
Oh, you
David.
did? Okay.
But then when I got into country, uh, one of the general managers said, "John, that's awful long. Why don't you just use JD? That sounds kind of country." So ever since 1980,
You've been
I've been
JD.
JD, and that's how my kids know me. That's how my wife knows me. That's how everybody knows me who didn't meet me in high school, like your father-in-law, Stan.
Yes.
So that's my identity. That's who I am. That's what, that's just who I think I am.
It's kind of how Vegas is for me, because I lived there and I moved to Martinsville, and my volleyball team started calling me Vegas, and it just stuck, and I love it. I love it. I'm proud of it. I love the
Yeah.
name.
And uh, that's where my success came from.
Hmm.
So to me, that's who I am. Like when some people who know me in high school call me John, which is fine. That's how they knew me.
Hmm.
She almost has to, who are they talking about?
Who?
But
John.
anyway, I try never to use,
The clout.
I did there because I got a 6-month-old baby.
Oh, no, there's time.
So it wasn't just because, hey, I'm a big shot.
Like, my baby's freaking popsicling. I need some help.
No, and I don't mean, I don't say, hey, I need to set up front, because I don't do that. And if I set up front, I'll pay or whatever is supposed to, what I'm saying? I don't like people who do that.
I don't either.
When I see other people do it, I don't like it, so I don't do it either.
I think it's very off-putting.
Yeah.
It's just anyone that just thinks, I'm successful, I'm this, so I'm better than you. It's like almost kind of elitist. I'm not really in.
Right.
That's good for you, basically.
And I was never like that, and sometimes maybe the best compliments I ever had was when I always did a lot of personal appearances at nightclubs and bars and things, at MC concerts. And when I'd run into listeners at like a bar or a concert or whatever, and they would meet me and they'd say, gosh, you're just like you are on the radio. Exactly.
You kind of are everything that,
exactly. I go, that's, if people who have a shtick, they go, there's no shtick.
It's your voice.
It's me.
Yeah, it's just, you're very, that's why I introduced you as, to hear you is to, that voice is unmistakable, J.D. Spangler. Like, I grew up listening to you. I'm like, I just think that you're, I don't know, I'm just so excited.
God, I love Vegas. I love
It's a great place.
I love Vegas.
We're talking about the person. I love you too.
I'm using it both ways.
So you look back on everything, and it's such a beautiful thing to say that your dreams came true. Like you never, basically, like, the saying, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And you got to do that for 50 years.
Unbelievable.
That's such a blessing.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've been blessed, lucky beyond belief. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's just pretty much
and to anybody out
everything there is.
there, if no matter what your age, dreams can still happen. Dreams can come true. Don't give up. One time a wise man said, the only way you can fail is to quit. So don't quit.
I think on that note right there, we are going to say goodnight. And thank you so much for coming and follow your dreams. Listen to JD. He's
I'm the
man.
man.
You are the
Baby. I'm
man,
the
yes.
man. Thank you, Vegas.
Thank you so much,
All
JD,
right.
for coming. You're the best. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, honey.